Hi there and welcome back. In the last video, we learned how to answer the D questions of paper 1 carrying 6 marks. In this video, we will look at the E category of the 6-mark questions. Now, the important thing about these questions are they are general in nature, so no application is required. Quite often you would find some reference of that particular topic in the case study, but do not get tempted to use these references from the case study because these are very general in nature. For example, I've used the same case studies that I used in the previous video here, and this business that is about this entrepreneur Asma is talking about employees being well motivated and about cash flow forecast, etc. Now the question here is talking about two non-financial methods that could be used to motivate employees. Now just because there is a connect between this question and the case study does not mean that you use any reference, right? So just don't worry about that. Now coming to the next thing is when you see these questions, you will have to identify the key topic, right? In this case, the key topic here is non-financial methods of motivation and the context. The context is the tertiary sector business here. In most cases, you will need to plan out one advantage and one disadvantage of the topic or the topics in the question. Analyze them objectively, right? So do not take sides there or do not already qualify them as, oh, this is a better one or not. Be very objective about it. Finally, take a stance and give 2 reasons why. Sometimes it can be difficult to give both reasons supporting the choice. In that case, you can give one reason justifying the choice and one justifying the rejection. That is the one that you say should not be taken. Your justification must match the analysis already written. So it would make sense to plan your answers ahead and make sure that your analysis covers everything that you would then want to use as justification for your stance. And please do not start the answer with your stance. As in, do not start the answer, I think so and so is a better option, and then start the answer. It's always better when you analyze them objectively first and then finally conclude it with your recommendation. All right? Okay, so let's look at some of these examples. Now, these questions can be structured very differently. I have picked out 3 examples here. And before I go into that, let me quickly take you through the mark scheme. This answer will get you 2 marks for knowledge, 2 marks for analysis, and 2 marks for evaluation. The knowledge and analysis is about the advantage or disadvantage that you identify, and the analysis is the explanation of that with the business impact. I'm always going to stress on that. Analysis needs to have a consequence of that particular action. And evaluation in this case would be the justification you give for your choices. Now, briefly taking you through the different structures, types of structures that I have figured out. Now, in this answer, in the question, you need to identify 2 non-financial methods to keep the employees well motivated. Now, it's an open question and it is up to you to identify any 2 non-financial methods and then you select one and justify that. Here's an example where the question says, do you think customers have a more important role in the success of a business than its employees? It's already giving you the 2 factors that you need to analyze. Unlike the previous one where you could choose any 2, here you have to compare between the customers and employees, explain how important they are, and then choose who is more important. And in a third method here, this category talks about, do you think a partnership is the best form of business organization for a new business? Now, the focus is on partnership, and it then allows you to either analyze that in detail, the advantages and disadvantages, and then take a pick, say either yes, it is the best, or say no, and then give reasons. And it also allows you to maybe explain one other form of business, which is what I have done in this organization, one other form of business structure, and briefly give its advantage and disadvantage, and then make a choice. All right, so this is open to both approaches in your answering. So let's go back to the first one and see how that is addressed. So I have chosen job rotation and job enrichment. And here I've said job rotation gives the opportunity to the employees to work on different services, leading to learning new skills and also avoiding boredom, thereby motivating them. Explains what job rotation does and the impact. And then about job enrichment, which allows the employees to work on additional tasks that gives them more responsibilities, which also helps them learn different skills other than their regular job, making them feel trusted and valued. And I finally made my choice. Job enrichment will be a better choice as it builds more skills, is one of my justification, and makes the employees feel more trusted and valued. All right. And job rotation might not be effective as a small tertiary business might not have many job categories to offer. If you notice in this answer, there are more than 2 evaluation points, but that is fine. If you get more than required, you're in the safe zone, but at least you need to get 2 knowledge, 2 analysis, and 2 evaluation for the 6 marker. Quickly going to the next example. Here, do you think customers have a more important role in the success of a business than its employees? The first half covers what a customer is about. The customer buys products which generates revenue. This is required in order to cover the cost of the business, leading to the profits and success. So 1 point for knowledge and 1 point for analysis given here. And the second one, they give valuable feedback to improve the product and thereby gain more market share. And then comes explaining the bit about the employees. Employees work to produce the products without which there would be nothing to sell. Then they work on improving the quality of the product so that customers are satisfied. And finally, the choice. Customers have a more important role in the success of a business, as without them, there would be no revenue to cover the business cost. Also, production can be achieved by automated machines without requiring too many employees and still be successful. So here was a case where we did cover more points than necessary as per the mark scheme. So we have 4 knowledge points and 4 analysis points, which is fine. And here the evaluation had to give one reason why a customer was important and also justify why an employee would not be as important, because machines can always do that job. Fine. So look for clear reasons why you would justify your choice. Finally, coming to the last example about partnership. In this answer, I have taken the approach of choosing a partnership and a private limited company to explain. I admit this was a little bit of a tight scrunch, because having to squeeze in an advantage and a disadvantage of both in this space can be a challenge, but with a little practice and knowing how to write short sentences without losing their sense will be important. In partnership, the partners share the workload based on the respective skills, making the running of the business more effective, right? So 1 round of knowledge and analysis. However, possible disagreements between the partners could slow down decision making and adversely impact the operations, which will make it tough for a new business to settle down. So make sure you never lose the context of this new business that's given in the question. So the next one is about the private limited company, which would give limited liability that is not present in partnership. This would protect the personal assets of the owners in case of the business fails and has huge dues to creditors. And it is also a more valued form of business, making it easy to get finances from investors and banks. So both points explain well with the impact on business. And finally, the recommendation. I recommend private limited as it has limited liability and a more valued status. All right. Okay, so I trust you've understood how to frame these questions. It will take a little practice to get it within that space. Please don't spill over onto the margins and below these line spaces, right? Okay, so that was paper 1 in all. I hope you have watched the previous videos. We will shortly get into the details of how to answer paper 2. Until then, bye-bye.